Welcome back to Meet Me for Coffee, the show where we sit down with artists, musicians, and people shaping the sound of today. Today, I'm joined by a band across the pond in the UK, bringing a fresh energy into the alt pop, punk, and rock space, blending big guitars, emotion, and a sound that hits somewhere between chaos and melody. With their new single "Smile" out now, and their latest EP, Table 4, kind of a tongue twister there, and making noise, they're quickly building a name for themselves with raw, real music that connects. Let's get into it. Please welcome Tom, Sal, Holly, and Rab from Riot Weekend. How's it going, guys?
Hey, we're
Hey,
good,
thanks for
thank
having us.
That's a nice reception there. How you guys doing?
you.
All right. So your new single "Smile" hits this mix of anger, heartbreak, and chaos. Where did that emotion come from? Let's start with Holly.
Oh, so in the writing process, I think everyone's been through heartbreak and had to watch people move on. And we sort of wanted to write a story about that and how it can feel. With the recording, when I was recording vocals, I just thought back to a time that I've experienced that, and it's the same live as well. And we just used some really gritty guitar tones to try and get the deep raw emotion, didn't we?
Yeah.
I can definitely feel that. Was that song written in the moment, or just looking back after everything settled?
It's kind of more of a reflective thing, yeah. So Tom and I kind of wrote it together. It came together really quickly. So Tom had the riff, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." We started working on it, and then by the time Sal showed up in the afternoon, we had kind of most of it done. So yeah, it's definitely more reflective though. To answer your question.
Now, you talk about wanting to be happy for your ex in this song, but also wanting to smash their car windows. How real is that feeling?
How can you not be happy for an ex and smash up some stuff?
I think obviously losing a relationship is like it is grief, and grief isn't linear, and you go through multiple stages. I mean, I'm certainly going through that at the moment, so the song is really prevalent to my life at the minute. So I think while you can want to be happy for someone, or even want to be happy for someone, I think there's still that underlying pain that you're experiencing that you want to express somehow.
Yeah, frustration as well that you yourself are stuck in a rut and unable to move on when they clearly are, and yeah, they get to.
But then you always remember that you had time with them for a reason. So you had a good time with them for a bit, and whilst it might be raw and emotional at the time, you don't want to be a raw and emotional person going forwards.
I think we found a cool way of expressing both polarities. Yeah.
Interesting. Here's a deeper question for you. Might throw you through a little bit of a warp here, but I've always thought about this. Do you think breakups are harder now with social media, like seeing everything in real time?
Yeah.
I think it really sort of sucks you in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can confirm. Yeah.
Yes. Question ended. The doom scrolling at 2 a.m. is never a healthy thing.
I think that's why we put it in the song, isn't it? And we even highlighted it in the music video as well.
Yeah.
Of she's looking at her phone, just scrolling, and then it pops up, and she sees he's in a new relationship, and it's just sometimes gets thrown in your face, whereas you used to maybe be able to avoid it, whereas now things are just sort of thrust upon you, and you just have to deal with it.
There's also the other part of it as well, that for maybe a week or so, you might still have the relationship status up there because the departing person from the relationship doesn't want to come out with it straight away, and then that prolongs it, and then all of a sudden it just happens out of the blue. Another thing that social media is kind of a bit of a painful side of it, because it just happens out of nowhere, and you think, oh, we're still together online, does that mean that we can still make it work? And then all of a sudden it just hits.
That's a great answer. I mean, like we're talking about authenticity in music, and you said that you made your music you'd want to hear. You guys in general, you guys would want to hear this kind of music you guys are writing right now. And I want to hear it because I can't stop listening to it. A lot of artists chase trends, and did you make a conscious decision not to in general?
Yeah, we constantly sort of have this discussion. We're actually currently writing new music at the moment, and we seem to keep coming back to this conversation every week when we meet up, of like not trying to chase either what we've done prior that people say that they like, or the trends. Like, we're just writing what we like. We like these riffs, we like these lyrics, and we sort of build off that.
I don't think it's really a sort of conscious decision, though, to sort of not pick a specific genre. It's just we all have our different inspirations. They come together. That's what makes us us. And sometimes it sounds a bit more pop punky. Sometimes it sounds a bit heavier. It's just
we literally
the music we make, and we think, yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, last week we literally said, if we like it, we're going to write it, and we're going to put it out there.
Yeah. No boxes.
And there are bands that end up following a certain trend. I mean, I've known really, really heavy death metal bands that now sound like what I call made in Chelsea rock. It's like your poppy stuff that Londoners will listen to. And it's like you listen to the two albums and there's none of their original taste or flavour there. And they have followed that trend. And then you've got your artists that they do their thing. And it fits within it, you know, being over from Canada, you know, Legs on Fire. I've followed them since the beginning, and you follow them and they literally do their thing. Nickelback, again, I saw them a couple of years ago and they were playing songs from every album, letting the crowd decide what they were going to play live. And that is exactly what they did at random, because they enjoyed playing what they were playing. And that's kind of where we come from. We want to enjoy what we do whilst others enjoy it.
My friend said to me the other day that she heard, you know, Spotify, other platforms are available. It gives you recommendations after you're done listening to your stuff. Something came on for her and she was like, that sounds like Riot Weekend. And she looked and it was. So the fact that we have our own sound without people having to look I really like that. Really important to me.
Yeah, it's good to have like a defined sound where people kind of separate you guys from other people, right? I mean, it's also nice to have like a female front person or front woman, whatever you guys want to call it. I don't know how it generalizes anymore across the industry, but it's nice to have a female vocalist in the band. It kind of separates you from all the other ones too. So do you feel like you're competing with other bands right now, or just like an algorithm online?
I think, yeah, it's you know, I don't think within the music industry, how it is now, I think bands, you can't compete with each other. You all have to support each other. You know, we've gotten so many gigs through friends of ours that are like, yeah, come support us. And, you know, I think that's such an important thing. I think, as you say, you're competing against the algorithms, you know, all these platforms, whether it's Spotify, social media, you know, you can't just go out and play lots of gigs anymore and that's how you get noticed. It's everything's, as you say, online. It's just luck whether someone will see your post or not. Obviously, you know, you can do things, but it's such a difficult thing, and it's nothing to do with music. So I think, yeah, it's definitely more competing against the algorithm and the sort of tech companies as opposed to other bands.
Yeah, in the perfect world, the wheel would just keep on turning and you guys would just be well on your way. But, you know, I even find on my social media sometimes, I'm like looking back and it's like, I look at a post and that post is from like 6 days ago from someone else. And like, how come, you know, so you guys post something, that algorithm does not push it. It just pushes something else from like maybe a month ago. And it's like, how is this even possible? Right.
Yeah.
I always wanted to know, like in general, there's lots of crazy happenings in studios, right? And not too like, you know, scandalous at this time, but what's something that went wrong in the studio that for you guys that people wouldn't expect?
The dog's going.
Something went wrong.
Smile was a tough one to record, actually, wasn't it, with vocals, because it was sort of pushing the limits on the what was it, on the ranges.
Yeah, I hadn't slept, had I? I had like 10 minutes sleep the night before and I couldn't sing it. And then
But bizarrely, with a bit of support, we sort of went to Holly and say, look, all the upset and anger you're feeling right now, put it into the vocals. And when I was standing outside while she was recording it, she was belting it out and it was just amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, I was actually holding a bit of wood that had come from your studio, and I was like digging it into my hands as I was singing it just to get the notes.
The other thing to preface this is that we did 3 or 4 days at a professional recording studio to record all of the EP, but still didn't have enough time to do the vocals. So we then did the vocals at Sal's booth recording, like a few weeks later, and so that was another thing that sort of like delayed the process and made it harder. But of course, then we had this one day where Holly was not on top form, and we had to sort of compensate for it.
I think, to be fair though, that almost worked in our favour, having to go back to Sal's, because, as Tom said, it was a couple of weeks later, and by that point we'd been listening to the sort of rough tracks that we had and going, oh, there's a good harmony, or like, oh, there's something I want to add. So then when we came back to it that couple of weeks later, we had sort of a fresh take on things as well.
Which was typical. I hadn't slept and my voice didn't work.
But it's also 3 days in the studio to do 4 songs with four different people doing more than 4 different things. You know, even on the first day doing the drums, yes, I got the drums out in a day, but the guys had to force me to stop. They're like, Sal, you need to stop, take a break. You can hear that you're just fading off a little bit, stop. And it's these things that you don't think about before going in.
Sometimes you get a bit tired, right? He's tracking to a metronome.
Especially how hard he hits.
Yeah, heavy hitter Sal.
Get a nice workout, right? Do you get like the vibration back through the drums too?
It helps because I suffer sciatica, so it helps with my back. But what it doesn't help is I get carpal tunnel in the cymbals. The vibrations actually numb my arm. So they were right. It's just things that you don't, I do it on a day-to-day basis, but when you're there doing it all day,
True.
Those are the challenges that I didn't actually think about before doing it. But them getting me to take the break, I then smashed out Smile really quickly, I thought.
Well, at least you're not playing like death metal or something like that, where you just conked out in the first 20 minutes. So blast beats and stuff. Maybe that's an idea for a song, some blast beats. Maybe the next
We'll get some blast beats in there at some point.
Giving them ideas.
That's your idea, man, not my idea. You'll remember this in a few weeks. You guys come up with some new material. But hey, why don't we throw this in there? Where do you get that from? So, what's the meaning behind Table for Four?
Rep?
Yeah. So we kind of went out for. When we were sort of early on as this lineup, because the band's been through a few lineup changes, and we had a sort of lunch out to get to know each other a bit better and plan our plan for world domination, as it were. And so we were sort of discussing song ideas and stuff like that, and then, because we were out having lunch, obviously we'd got a table for 4, and we thought the 4 of us, it's 4 tracks, it fits, it's nice, and it's a kind of statement of like where we are now,
where we were at the time as well.
Yeah. So just thought, sounded cool. Good name for the EP.
Good little comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, although we sort of brainstormed a bunch of different ideas for song names and for EP names and stuff, it's the one thing that sort of hit and everyone was like, oh yeah, and it sort of spurred a few like imagery ideas and song title ideas that spurred from that. So like, that's the one that clicks.
Is pop punk actually back, or are we just being nostalgic?
Did it ever leave?
Yeah.
I also think as well, you have to remember, everybody that grew up in the best days of pop punk, early 2000s, are now over an age where there is disposable income. And you are seeing a lot of bands do their 25th anniversaries of certain albums. So I don't think it ever left. It's just that they've got a reason to celebrate. So it's now making its comeback to where it was before. And maybe it's always been there, but just nobody's spoken about it.
I think pop punk's still there. We're just not listening to it in skate parks anymore because we all have to go to work.
Yeah, we can't just sit down and play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for like
and crying
hours upon hours anymore. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I'm doing like a little series online at like little shorts about like different bands and like different eras and stuff. And I feel like I'm stuck in like between like 1995 and like 2010 for some reason. And then what happens is I start talking about a record. I I was just doing a series the other day. It was like I talked about Chicken Foot. Remember that band that this
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar and Joe Satriani, this and that. And it was like this debut record was released back in 2009, and I'm like, holy shit, it's like 2026 now, right? And it's like I remember that.
Everything's 25 years old now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Except us.
we were talking the other week about, I think it was Basket Case, Green Day. And when I
Yeah.
mentioned that it was 94, Holly, you were quite surprised. You're like, no, it's not 94. And it's
I was
like,
born in 94.
and it's like, it really was in 1994. Yet here I am at 38 still talking about
Yeah.
bands that
So we're the
albums.
same age. I feel the exact same way as you. I feel like I jumped into some type of portal and like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm working on this reverse aging thing right now. You know, when you eat your sour bread and like your Whole Foods now. So it's kind of both. I mean, I feel
When
better.
you figure out the solution, send us the link.
Yeah. Lots of just for men hair dye. That's what it is.
But it's like
we don't need
Ah,
that.
damn.
All right.
Like, not last year, but the year before, I think I went to see 18 different bands, and the majority of them were bands like Under Oath, Senses Fail, Thrice, Yellow Card, all the bands that I grew up listening to early 2000s. And they were packed out. Every show was sold out. So, yeah, I don't think it ever left. I just think it's become that unspoken popular thing that's always been there.
Millennials are the best.
It's definitely having a popular resurgence, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys rather go viral on TikTok or build a real fan base slowly? I think I would go for the second one.
Real.
Yeah.
Go viral, get a one-hit wonder, get out of here.
Yeah. Book your ticket to the Bahamas.
We're going real. You're fired.
It's just differing ideas, guys.
I think real fans are better because especially at shows, you can get them to join in with the fun. And somebody said it the other week, when you come to our show, it's not our show, it's everybody's show. And that's what we like. We like to involve everybody. So the more people that are there, the better. And of course, that comes with real fans.
Yeah, that was a nice review.
That's an amazing answer. I couldn't have said it better than myself. What does success actually look like for Riot Weekend in the next couple of years?
Money!
He's French, ignore him.
Sorry.
Let's just say what we're thinking here.
For me, all I've ever wanted is for people to sing the songs back to me as I'm singing them. Like, that's the best feeling ever. I would like to play Slam Dunk. For me, that's like a goal. But yeah, just having people singing the song back to you and having a good time while we're having a good time, for me, that's just everything.
Walk tour.
I think
Walk tour.
Yeah.
that's a shout. I think for me, as Tom said, it's not all about money, but to be able to make enough to just do this for a living, not necessarily have the, your massive mansion and all the sports cars like back in the 80s rock stars had, but just to be able to get by day to day,
to put our all into it,
and just spend my time playing music to people would be amazing.
Those are all acceptable answers. And also, in the next couple of years, I'd like to see some blast beats in your music.
we'll do it for you.
That's the meaning of success.
We'll name the song George. We'll do it for you.
Please.
I'll get learning.
You have one called Harry, you might as well call one George. I mean,
yeah. We seem to write a lot of songs with names, don't we? Yeah.
And I always remember like the fact, if I'm actually pretty tired right now, I might go hold on to a piece of wood really, really hard right now. Just even digs into my arms so I can keep on going. I have lots more shows to do. It does.
If you don't
sounds
bleed
like
by the end of it, it doesn't count.
I had like lines in my hands. It was bad.
Well, I mean, like with the melodies and how things are kind of gelling with the vocals, the melodies, the way the drums and the rhythm sections kind of gelling with the actual guitars and stuff like that. I can see people actually singing the songs back to you guys, and it really, now that you guys said that, like I was thinking about that on the car ride down here, because I was listening to Fine and what was it, Smile, and there's December in December. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So funny story. Before we'd released that song, I think we played it once at a place called Boiler Room. And because it's so repetitive at the end, one of the girls in the crowd was singing it back to me, and I was like, "You never heard this song? How are you singing this?" But it was amazing just to see her singing it. It was an incredible feeling.
That's absolutely amazing, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time
No worries. Thanks for having us.
to speak with me. I mean, it's there's a final question I ask actors and the rockers and everybody comes on this show. It's called Meet Me for Coffee. Where would we be without coffee? Where would we be without knowing what you guys take in your coffee? It's like Seinfeld. Do you guys watch Seinfeld, or have you ever watched Seinfeld before when Kramer has like the coffee table book about coffee tables? All right.
No,
We're gonna make a coffee table book about people's coffee. So let's start with Tom. How do you take your coffee?
I drink a flat white at every opportunity.
Fantastic. All right.
I'm going to give you a very Italian answer, being that I'm Italian. Espresso.
Yeah, same here, man. Go ahead.
mine has a tea bag in it because I hate coffee. I'm very English. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all good. It's all good. I've had many artists from the UK, and you'd be surprised. Everybody just drinks tea. Nobody really drinks coffee. So, what about you, Rob?
I drink a lot of coffees at work.
Right.
I work as a chef, so sometimes when it's super hot, I'll have a nice iced latte, cool me down. Otherwise, it's a
Who knew you're such a white guy?
cappuccino, to be honest. Yeah, normally a cappuccino.
Well, thank you guys. Riot Weekend from the UK. Meet me for coffee. Keep your eyes peeled for this band. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.